you know that 50% of people 12 years old and older have used illicit drugs at least one time in their life? With a number like this, it's no wonder that drug use and addiction are quickly becoming an issue in our communities, in our nation, and across the world. Drug addiction is characterized by drug seeking and the use that is compulsive or difficult to control despite its harmful consequences. And for many, there seems to be no way out. Now, addiction itself, as some of us know, does not affect just the person who's addicted. It affects the family members as well. The reason I know this is because I've witnessed the effects of addiction in my own life and in my own family. I myself have been addicted before to alcohol, to alcohol and different things like that since my late teens through my other late 20s, early 30s. So it's something I've struggled with as well. And for this speech, we're going to first look at some of the warning signs of addiction. And we're going to look at different types of addiction. And next, we will look at how addiction affects the mind and how it affects the body. After we look through these two things, we will look at options for recovery for someone who is looking to break the chains of addiction and are struggling with addiction. But to the first point, knowing the signs and types of addiction can possibly save your life or the life of someone you love. It's important to understand and to realize addiction doesn't happen overnight. There are warning signs when it comes to addiction. According to a 2025 article by Psychology Today, the warning signs include being unable to stop taking a substance, even when wanting to cut down or regulate use. That's one of the signs. The next sign would be worrying about the next dose or getting a consistent supply of that substance. Next would be neglecting roles, responsibilities such as work, school, or home obligations. Now, as I said, alcohol addiction is not just a term to describe dependence on a substance. In a February 2020 article from Healthline by Dr. Timothy Legg, he comments that experts recognize two different types of addiction. There's chemical addictions and there's behavioral addictions. There are chemical addictions to legal and illegal substances such as prescription pain medicine, alcohol, methamphetamine, heroin, and fentanyl. Behavioral addictions include things like pornography, gambling, and I kind of reluctantly say this next one for fear of what my wife might do to me after the speech, but shopping can be considered, or excessive shopping, I should say, could be considered a behavioral addiction. Now that we are more aware of the signs and types of addiction, I want us to now look at how addiction affects the mind and the body. First, we'll look at how addiction affects the mind. In a 2024 article by Verywell Health, or from Verywell Health, Dr. Laura Dord states that drugs alter important areas of the brain. When someone continues to use drugs, their health can deteriorate both psychologically and neurologically. She goes on to mention that some of the common mental effects of drug addiction are cognitive decline, memory loss, mood changes, poor impulse control, and even more life-threatening conditions such as disruption of heart rate, breathing, and sleep. In the same article from Dr. Dord, she says that addiction also leads to a variety of physical consequences ranging in seriousness from drowsiness to organ damage and to death. Perhaps the greatest indicator of these types of consequences is what is commonly referred to or called physical dependence. This refers to someone's reliance on a substance to function day to day. If realized early enough, physical dependence doesn't have to lead to an addiction. However, if left untreated, physical dependence will turn into an addiction. Now, as we've just seen, addiction affects the mind and the body only in negative ways and will ultimately lead to death if left untreated. However, there are options available for anyone desiring to break the chains of addiction. So what kind of options are there? What does treatment look like is the question we need to be asking here. According to a publication on the National Institute on Drug Abuse's website, it states, research on the science of addiction and the treatment of substance use disorders has led to the development of research-based methods that will help people to stop using drugs and resume productive lives, which is also known as being in recovery. What this means is that there are certain treatment options that can be offered to an individual based on the types of substances used, how much of a substance was used, and the amount of time an individual used for. For some, treatment will include meeting a behavioral specialist to assist them in making the lifestyle changes necessary to achieve sobriety. Another option that many choose to take is to be a part of a Christian-based recovery program. From the Christian perspective, God offers grace, forgiveness, redemption, transformation, and strength in weakness. an article published by Faith and Recovery dealing with addiction from a Christian perspective involves a holistic approach that addresses the physical, psychological, and spiritual aspects of this complex issue. Now, in closing, I want us to remember that addiction is characterized by drug seeking and the use that is compulsive or difficult to control, despite its harmful consequences. And for many, there seems to be no way out. Now, we can help ourselves and the ones we love if we know the signs and the types of addiction which we went through. Secondly, we have a better understanding of the negative impact that addiction has not only on the body but on the mind as well. And finally, we need to also know and realize that there is treatment available for anyone who desires to break the chains of addiction. There are options available. If you or someone you love is struggling with addiction, the best thing that you can do is to seek treatment immediately, or if it's someone that you love, encourage them to seek treatment before it's too late. There has not been one day which I regret putting addiction behind me. And I challenge you to find someone who does regret one of those days. Because you won't find anyone who said that their life was better when they were slaves to an addiction. Thank you.